So thankfully, I'm not the only one. Here we have John Heilemann, journalist and co-founder of The Recount, coming to the same conclusions that I did. Let's take a listen.
You know, the story of this is not that complicated. It is mostly one party, almost exclusively at this point, where a party that has been owned to a large extent by the National Rifle Association, but where Republicans have taken these positions, they've gotten campaign contributions, and they've been forced into extreme positions or submitted to extreme positions on guns because they are fear that they will get primaried by an NRA-supported candidate to their right on this issue. And that has become a self-reinforcing cycle. You know,
and that very much seems to be the motivation of a lot of, well, in this case, the governors, right? For instance, we're going to take a look at the response from Senator Teen Wolf himself. Here's Cancun Cruz.
Of this kind, you see politicians try to politicize it. You see Democrats and a lot of folks in the media.
Now pay attention to we missed the first part of the clip there. All right, now pay attention to the key words that he uses. Shit, take notes if you want to, because this is going to sound very familiar in a moment.
We know from past experience that the most effective tool for keeping kids safe is armed law enforcement on the campus. You know,
more guns, armed law enforcement on the campus. Okay.
Inevitably, when there's a murder of this kind, you see politicians try to politicize it.
Politicians want to politicize it. We'll get to that.
You see Democrats and a lot of folks in the media whose immediate solution is to try to restrict the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens. That doesn't work.
That doesn't work. Restricting the rights of constitutional law-abiding citizens. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to sound very familiar here in just a few moments, but I want to first address how he says, folks trying to politicize it. Isn't that politicizing it? Isn't this guy is a Republican senator. This guy is a United States senator, and he's going to be speaking the day after tomorrow at the NRA. Now it's politicizing. What the fuck is that? What the fuck are you doing on Friday with Greg Abbott and Governor Christie and Donald fucking Trump, who's out at CPAC hanging out with Viktor Orban and the Nazi crew, right? But yeah, Democrats, they just want to politicize, these tragedies. Dude, you're politicizing it, though. You've had this planned. Your whole weekend is going to be about politicizing. What the fuck is this interview right now? If not politicizing this shit? And I'll show you how this isn't the first time that Senator Ted Cruz has spewed this exact same garbage regarding this exact same type of issue. But first, I want to get into a response. And I'm not going to lie, this is kind of a tough one. The response from Fred Gutenberg. We're going to delve a little bit deeper into this. Spoiler alert, Teen Wolf Cruz shows that he's a shill for the NRA, not unlike his plans for the weekend of being a shill for the NRA. Fred Gutenberg, of course, is a father of one of the victims of the Parkland shooting. With aftermath, of course, he got to know Senator Teen Wolf real well. Let's take a listen to his response.
I'm done. They fucking failed our kids again. Okay, I'm done. I've had it. You know, how many more times? And we're going to sit back. I'm going to listen to that governor of Texas talk about why he pushed to fight for laws in Texas that made it easier for the guns to be had by those who want to kill? How many more times? I'm sorry. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say.
And
the governor there, he's not like Senator Murphy. that lieutenant governor. He's not like Senator Murphy. In fact, I'm trying hard not to curse, Nicole, but I'm shaking. But I'd like to tell them all to go F off. Because what they did, what they do, the way they politicize guns and violence led us to this day. The government
beforehand.
This was predictable, but it was also preventable. Sadly, the next one that's going to happen is also predictable if we keep doing nothing. And so I am begging, Senator Cruz, I sat with you in your office 2 years or so ago. I listened to your nonsense. I listened to your BS. I listened to you explain to me why you thought we didn't need the bare minimum of effective background checks. March into Senator Murphy's office right now, tonight, and you be the Republican who says, I've had enough. Because if you don't get your ass out of office, you don't belong there. I'm sorry.
I mean, no reason to be sorry, my dude. Jesus Christ. This already happened to him, so I mean, he's kind of an authority on such matters. What's he talking about, though? He was already in his office talking about this thing. Of course, again, as I mentioned, Mr. Gutenberg is a parent of one of the victims of the Parkland shooting. Pull this up from ABC, pulling up a lot of backlog here. ABC News back in 2019. Let's see if I can pull this up here. GOP's, I'm not going to read the whole thing for you because I know how much everybody loves that. GOP Senator Ted Cruz and Alyssa Milano debate gun control. This is back in 2019, right? She says, I'm asking you, I'm begging you to use the courage to lead because I think you could be an instrumental part of the solution for the country and fear that we're feeling as parents. She said that during a Facebook live stream of the meeting on, back then. Let's see. Let's get to the bread and butter here. When it comes to an issue like stopping gun violence, I think that the two sides believe the worst of each other, Cruz said. Who fucking cares what both sides believe about what? I don't think either of those caricatures is right. If we can start from what I think should be a shared goal, which is to stop gun violence and stop mass murders like this in the future, then I think we can have a reasonable conversation about what policies are most likely to produce that. Okay, great. That makes sense. Except, did he flip-flop? Was he like okay with, regulations of some kind? Cruz's suggestion for an effective policy was Grassley-Cruz bill, which the senator said would responsibly address gun violence while simultaneously protecting the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding gun owners. Cruz and Iowa Republican Chuck Grassley have introduced the bill multiple times in recent years, though it does not include universal background checks. So if it doesn't include background checks, fucking doesn't do shit. What does it do? It does nothing. What it did focus on strengthening background checks. I want background checks to be stronger and more effective and keep weapons out of the hands of violent felons and fugitives and people with dangerous mental illness. But clearly, he doesn't give a shit. If it's not included in the bill, don't worry about what he says. Worry about what the legislation does, because anything else is just being a reactionary douchebag. Let's see. Anything else really, really good in here? Gutenberg says it's not about taking your rights away to own guns. It's about roadblocks to take away the ability of those bad guys who want to kill people to get access to weapons. Nope, pretty much just drones on from there. But don't take it from me and don't take it from ABC, bro. Let's hear it from Senator Cruz himself. This is from also 2018, around that same time there, yonder. Okay, this is where you get out your handy dandy. Oh, fuck. From the last time that Ted Cruz was opening his mouth and a bunch of trash fell out, because you're going to hear some familiar shit.
It's truly heartbreaking, and all of us, our prayers are with the families and all of those children.
Is it heartbreaking? I mean, fuck, it happened again today, bro. Today. And my God. Sorry, watch the video.
children who went through that horror. Just a few months ago, I was in Sutherland Springs, Texas, with another horrific shooting in that beautiful church, and I've grieved with the families that are mourning their loved ones, and all of us together. This horror shouldn't exist, and we don't know right now exactly why this deranged individual did this. I'm sure in the days to come we're going to find out more about what his motives were, but whatever they were evil, and this is a horrible, horrible thing, and our prayers are very much with us Florida families.
Could something like that happen in Texas? Do they have armed guards in public schools in Texas?
I mean, could something like this happen in Texas? I don't know, you tell me. But here we go with the armed guards, right?
Sure, this could happen anywhere. I mean, we have seen that evil can occur, whether in Parkland or in a church in central Texas or in schools across the country. I mean, there are murderers. Evil is sadly always present, and we need to do what we can to act to prevent it. Sometimes you see brave heroes who are able to step forward, and sometimes you have people like in Sutherland Springs who are armed, who can engage the killer and stop them and save people's lives.
That's what I was saying. Do your public schools allow it? Because I know every state is different. Do your public schools allow armed security?
Oh, sure. There are certainly some schools that have armed security, and that can make a difference, but it varies school by school.
Senator, I know the Democrats are calling now for more gun control. They're talking about not allowing you to buy the AR-15 anymore.
So it's a town. What did we discuss as a town of about 17,000 people? So yeah, they didn't feel like they needed armed guards in school because, it's a town that's like the size of Lebanon or West Plains or wherever you live, with around 15 to 17,000 people. You don't need it all the time. It costs money. That costs taxpayer money. This costs taxpayer money. The writing's on the wall, folks.
How do you think Republicans will respond to this? Because we have seen multiple shootings recently, mass shootings using this weapon. You're a parent. You have young girls who are going to grow up and go to school as well, or are already in school. So how do you think Republicans need to respond?
Well, look, of course you're right that the reaction of Democrats to any tragedy is to try to politicize it. So they immediately start calling that we've got to take.
Here we go. Politicize. Ooh, this is on Fox News. This is the senator speaking.
Take away the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens. That's not the right answer. I can tell you in Sutherland Springs, I was there the day after the shooting, and I was in that sanctuary that was covered with bullet holes and blood, and was the most horrific thing I've ever seen in my life. And when I was at the...
Does anybody think he was actually there? I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't see. But you would think that if the guy was actually there and he actually saw shit like that, that when something like this happens today with children, very small children. So if he saw what those weapons do to full-grown adults, can he not, see with the mind's eye and just imagine what that would do to a small child's body? My God. Recently, while preparing for this half, read a report that they're getting DNA from relatives because they can't identify the bodies of the children because they were just shot to shit. You would think that this guy who had seen this or claims that he saw this with his own two eyes would, maybe not be such a dick today, but hey,
hospital with the victims' families, over and over again what they said to me in Texas. They said gun control is not the answer here. This is moms grieving while their sons are being operated on. They said, look, we all had our guns. This was one of the moms that I talked to in Sutherland Springs. We all had our guns. We just left them in the car out of respect for the church. If any one of us had brought it in, that gunman never would have killed any of these people. And so the answer is to focus on criminals, to focus on violent criminals. This individual appears to have significant issues with mental illness. I think we will certainly be asking, were there signs of mental illness? Could we have stepped in and prevented this beforehand? With Sutherland Springs, had the Obama administration simply followed federal law and enforced the law, existing gun laws made it illegal for the Sutherland Springs shooter to buy a gun, but the Obama administration failed to report his criminal conviction, so he wasn't in the background check system.
Right.
It's
Background checks. I don't even know where to begin with this shit. You know, whether it's weird enough that this guy's talking about, oh, well, you know, background checks, or background checks, or the fact that he's, you know, it's blame Obama. You know, I'm not trying to politicize this. It's the Democrats trying to politicize this. It just listen. It only gets weirder from there. I promise you. So here we have. Let me pull this up. And keep in mind, this jagoff is going to be speaking this weekend, this Friday, the day after tomorrow, at the National Rifle Association's annual meeting with all the rest of those jagoffs that I talked about, and you know, the GOP's favorite insurrectionist president at the NRA meeting, fresh from the CPAC, Hungary. If you watched the show yesterday, you know all about that by now, right? So former San Antonio Mayor Julian Castro, or rather Julian Castro, depending on how he says it, had this to say on Twitter regarding the shooting.
What are your concerns about the clip at which this seems to be happening in America today?
Well, this has become part of who we are as a country. It's become part of our culture. And it's unbelievable that we can accept this as the ordinary course of living in the United States of America. The free availability of guns has not made us safer in the United States or here in the state of Texas. We have to recognize that each time one of these incidents happens, it's not an outlier anymore. It's not something that is unique or that is different. This happens all the time, and we have to put a stop to it.
Happens all the time this week, that's for sure. Chris Murphy from Connecticut had addressed the other senators today in a chilling monologue, asking them essentially, why are you here if not to serve and preserve the American people, life? I don't know. Why are they here? Are you pro-life? Are you fucking kidding me? What happened to saving the babies? Boy, that shit just went away real fucking fast, didn't it? What happened to pro-life? We didn't even get the fucking SCOTUS ruling yet. What? We'll get to this here in just a second. I apologize to Senator Murphy here, but what the fuck happened to pro-life? That shit went right out the window, didn't it? Real quick.
There are 14 kids dead
20
in an elementary school in Texas right now. What are we doing? What are we doing? Just days after a shooter walked into a grocery store to gun down African American patrons, we have another Sandy Hook on our hands. What are we doing? There have been more mass shootings than days in the year. Our kids are living in fear every single time they set foot in a classroom because they think they're going to be next. What are we doing? Why do you spend all this time running for the United States Senate? Why do you go through all the hassle of getting this job, of putting yourself in a position of authority, if your answer is that as this slaughter increases, as our kids run for their lives, we do nothing? What are we doing? Why are you here?
It's very good question, Senator Chris Murphy. And I know the answer to that, unfortunately, why they're here. I'm going to read you some tweets from people who vote, or at least claim that they vote for the people that Senator Murphy was addressing specifically. Well, shit, I might show you a couple of them. So this is from my Twitter feed. I don't know if you can see that. It says the Texas shooter. Let's see if I can zoom in just a little bit here. The Texas shooter. How's that? That should be pretty fucking good. We need stronger families and more good guys with guns. The Texas shooter. This is a blue check. I have no idea who the fuck John Cardillo is. John Cardillo, if you know who this dildo is, let me know. Because I've never heard of the guy before. Now, we heard Governor Greg Abbott say in his press conference earlier today, when they only knew about 14 kids, not the other 6 who were shot and apparently fucking torn apart, say that the shooter went to high school in the area, at the high school connected to the elementary school, and that he was a citizen. If initial reports are accurate and this mass murderer of children was an illegal alien who was being chased by the Border Patrol, Democrats should never again be allowed to hold an elected office in the United States. What the fuck? You gotta be out of your mind, bro. Oh my God. What kind of shit is this? I mean, if the guy was illegal, you know, that's some bullshit anyway. What the hell? I don't get it, but what is that? What is that? What kind of mental illness is that? I'm gonna have to take an Advil. My brain's going to explode. I feel stupider just reading that. True Freedom posts false flag event identification. Media cannot get facts straight. Cannot detail exact weapon. Assailant is a loner and between the ages of 18 and 29. Story does not add up. Number change. This shit was all posted today, folks. 6:56 p.m. Eastern time. Assailant has skills to do a massacre without any training. Assailant ends up dead in Sentimental Hospital. Mugshot ready with no prior report. Media will talk about event 24/7. Gun control will be the center of every interview or statement. Happens in a place that most figures safe. So now, nowhere safe. Now, with no motive that translate to that specific place. Assailant has social media posts that tell you the motive, so no actual police work has to happen. Bad guys don't usually do that, but that is not brought up in the media. Bonus, all victims die within mysterious short frame of time to bolster headlines. And last but not least, Trump won 1776 Gen. I don't give two shits if you are crying and sad about the school shooting. I want to know what you're doing to prevent the next one. I'm praying for the families and the lives lost, not caring about your feelings, sick bitches. Fuck you if monkeypox scares you too. If people can't handle the truth, nothing will change. People are in denial about false flags. This is a psyop. They want you to feel end false flags. This shit just drones on from there. I'm not even kidding you. Retweeted. How convenient, a mass shooting in Texas, 14 kids dead with primary elections, and WEP, WHO globalization conference going on in Davos. Got to keep everyone distracted from election rigging and America's sovereignty with bullshit false flag tragedies. Evil, evil, evil. Second Amendment does not grant us the right to bear arms. The Second Amendment denies the government to the authority to infringe on a right to bear arms. Locked and loaded will stop the gun shootings. All schools need open system with guns. Yeah, it just, oh man. I mean, and this is the kind of stuff that keep letting in illegals, keep on Democrats. This is on you. The rigged machines are doing their thing in Georgia. The Dems politicized and created the tragedy. Anyone advocating for gun control is guilty of crimes against children. What else is there to say here, folks? So listen, that's... I'm going to politicize the shit. That's the kind of psychopaths you're up against this November. So in every November, when we have an election, that's the kind of psychopaths who are getting into your school boards. Those are the kind of psychopaths you're getting into your school boards. Okay. Fuck. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. It's terrifying. It only gets more terrifying by the day. You would think that reason and rationality would at some point take hold, but my God, this isn't just some stuff that I've seen on Twitter. I've seen this sort of thing in my local area. I've seen this from people who are people that, who know people that I know them, I know people, and then they know people, and then they post this kind of shit. So, it's in your neighborhood. Good luck to you out there. My God. We're all in this together, but some of them ain't got it together. So listen, if you like this kind of content, you know what to do. Smash the subscribe button, hit the notification icon, because I'm pretty sure I'm getting a shaft from YouTube. Definitely, if you see anything I post on Facebook, consider that a blessing, because I know Big Daddy Zuck's got it out for me. Not to sound like a conspiracy theorist myself, but I've asked around, and I post quite a lot. So, but Twitter's treating me really good. So the folks who have been catching my tweets and watching the show from there, I love you, and it says so at the end of the show. So all the instructions. Have a great day, all.